All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Supreme Court of Florida is now in ceremonial session. Let all who have cause to plead draw near. Give attention. You will be heard. God save these United States, the great state of Florida, and this honorable court. Ladies and gentlemen, the Florida Supreme Court, please be seated.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Florida Supreme Court. Thank you so much for being here today. Obviously, the first and most important thing that we want to do is welcome you here and congratulate you. Congratulate your families, your mentors, teachers, friends, everybody who played a part in getting you to this milestone in your lives and in your professional lives. This is a great day for the court. It's a great privilege for us to be able to do this. Unlike most of the proceedings that we have here, this is a celebration, so Feel free to applaud at appropriate points, take photographs, etc. We're here for you, and we hope you enjoy this ceremony. We're going to be hearing from several speakers today, and I'll give some brief remarks before we administer the oath. But why don't we start off with Melissa Van Sickle, who is here on behalf of the Florida Bar's Board of Governors.
Thank you. Chief Justice Muniz, members of the court, distinguished guests, family and friends, and my new colleagues. I'm honored to welcome each of you, the latest members of our noble profession, on behalf of the over 110,000 members of the Florida Bar and the Florida Bar Board of Governors. Congratulations. You are now on the precipice of very great change. This moment signifies a turning point in your professional career, and I know the journey to get here has not been easy. I know that this is the culmination of hard work and a series of very deliberate choices. Choices that may have been difficult, but choices that I encourage you to keep making. Above all, these choices are a striking testament to your resilience, commitment to achievement, and devotion to public good. These choices represent who you are and who you have the potential to be. Please join me in celebrating this important and admirable accomplishment. As you enter this increasingly competitive profession, you'll be met with great responsibility, which must not be taken lightly. It will be up to you to honor our creed of professionalism with respect. As we talk about choices, let's turn for a moment to what can be an uncomfortable topic, and that is lawyer discipline and professionalism. As an arm of this Florida Supreme Court, the Florida Bar is charged with lawyer regulation as its core function to protect the public and the integrity of the judicial system. We administer a statewide disciplinary system that enforces the rules of professional conduct. Just to give you some context, in the past year, the Florida Bar has investigated 3,380 disciplinary cases involving Florida Bar members, resulting in disciplinary action against 236 bar members, with disbarment in 36 cases. Can you imagine knowing how hard you worked to get here today? The possibility of losing your bar license due to unethical behavior. But the credibility of the legal system relies on the reputation and the integrity of its practitioners, and we must all take responsibility for rooting out the bad actors. So what do you do as a new lawyer? Well, you can know that the Florida Bar is here to help you take a proactive approach as you start your career. The Florida Bar has developed a number of resources for you as lawyers to help you understand how to work within the ethical guidelines and to avoid disciplinary actions, including resources on how to comply with the Florida Rules of Professional Conduct. Within your first year of practice, you'll be required to complete a basic skills course emphasizing professionalism and ethics, and this will help you build on the foundation you've already started with your courses in law school. In addition, the Bar also offers an ethics hotline, which provides guidance for lawyers regarding dilemmas that are unique to our practice and our profession. You can even request a written advisory opinion, and you should never hesitate to rely on these resources. Turning back to why we are here today, though, never forget that you have earned the privilege to be here today and to becoming a lawyer. Every day you should strive to uphold this privilege by adhering to our standards of ethics and professionalism. At the beginning of this speech, I said that you are here because of a series of choices. As you progress as lawyers, you'll continue to be faced with them. Keeping in mind our creed of professionalism, I encourage you to choose dignity and decency over abusive behavior, to choose to exercise independent judgment and not to be governed by a client's ill will or deceit. Choose to revere the law, the judicial system, and the legal profession, and to uphold the dignity and esteem of each. I am certain that if you continue to make good choices, you will achieve great success. On behalf of the Florida Bar Board of Governors and the Florida Bar, welcome. Your journey has only just begun. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those great remarks. Next, we will hear from Aaron Tilton, who's here on behalf of the Tallahassee Bar Association. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chief Justice, members of the court. On behalf of the Tallahassee Bar Association, the capital area's largest voluntary bar association, it's an honor to welcome you, the newest members of the bar, to what is undoubtedly the most challenging and also the most rewarding profession anyone could be a part of. When I was first asked to speak here today, I couldn't help but think back to the moment that I was sworn in as an attorney, as I'm sure many of you will do in the coming years. I was sitting right where you are today, and first I admittedly spiraled a little bit. While that day feels like yesterday, and some days I really do feel like that brand new lawyer who's just walking into the Supreme Court for the very first time, in reality 10 years have gone by. And once I gave myself a moment to process that and reflect, I really started to appreciate how far I've come in the past 10 years. I have a long career left in front of me. I still have plenty to learn about the practice of law, and the practice of law still has plenty left to teach me about myself. But that brand new lawyer version of me, she would be really proud if she could see us now. Which leads me to what I'd like to talk with you about today. If I could go back in time, there are so many things I would tell that brand new lawyer. And as it turns out, when I started asking around to my other board members on the Tallahassee Bar, each of them also had advice they wished they had been given when they first started the practice of law. So on behalf of myself and the entire board of directors of the Tallahassee Bar, I want to pass that advice along to each of you. David Grimes, who's a staff director for the Florida House Democratic Office and is somewhere in here today. He's also a representative of the Second Circuit on the Florida Bar Board of Governors. His advice: finding your place in the community can sometimes be difficult. You will no doubt suffer through the same imposter syndrome that I dare say everyone in this room on this side of the bar experienced at some point. You will also no doubt fall short, but I would encourage you to let your failures teach you. Speaking only for myself, and I mean for David, I have learned a great deal more from the things I've got wrong than from my easy successes. You will have hard days, you will have easy days, but in the end, you will learn from them both. Sid Bigham is a shareholder with Berger Singerman and the president-elect of the Tallahassee Bar Association. His advice, on a slightly lighter note: reread your emails out loud before you click send. Amanda Hussain is an associate attorney with Rutledge Yesenia, and she's the president-elect of the Tallahassee Bar's Young Lawyers section. Her advice: don't feel like you have to handle a new project on your own, simply to impress your coworkers or partners. Collaborating and asking questions of more seasoned attorneys is one of the benefits of working in a law firm environment, and it provides you with so much more insight and real practice pointers as opposed to figuring out how to tackle a new area on your own. Liz Ellis is an attorney at Stearns Weaver Miller. Her advice: find a mentor and invest your time in growing that relationship. That person will be an invaluable resource throughout your career. Kyle Sill, a law clerk with the First District Court of Appeals. His advice: take advantage of every opportunity. I've never regretted sitting on a colleague's practice panel, joining a board, or having coffee. Good, bad, or ugly, every yes has made me learn and made for a fun, interesting, and engaging experience. And finally, here's mine. There's a difference between giving up and moving on. If something isn't serving you anymore, don't be afraid to admit it, and don't be afraid to make a change. Congratulations to all of you on this incredible achievement. I hope each of you spend the next 10 years making this version of yourself proud. Welcome to the bar.
And next, we'll hear from Anisha Patel, who's the current president of the Florida Bar's Young Lawyers Division. Anisha and I were able to meet earlier today, and I heard a lot about the Young Lawyers Division's programming for the coming year, and they've got a lot of great things going on that should be of appeal to all of you generally, and then also specifically depending on what you're interested in. So I would definitely encourage you to look into that and take advantage of this great resource.
Thank you. Chief Justice, Justices, distinguished guests, friends and family, and to my new colleagues. On behalf of the Florida Bar Young Lawyers Division, it is my honor to welcome you to the profession. The Young Lawyers Division is home to over 23,000 members and includes all lawyers under the age of 36 and those within their first 5 years of practice. While I get to stand here today as the Wildies president, our Board of Governors consists of 55 lawyers across the state who each represent their different circuits. They are here to help you connect, learn, and transition to the practice of law. Together, we are committed to your success, and above all, we look forward to working with you and serving alongside you. When I was preparing to deliver my remarks today, I wondered what I could possibly say to mark this incredible occasion. So I started with the oath of attorney. The oath is your guide, it is your contract with this profession, and above all, it is your obligation. If you take only one thing away from today, it should be that please don't let today be the last time that you look at it. The oath you take today professes respect, justice, truth, honor, confidence, fairness, integrity, and civility. These guiding principles will be as applicable 10 years from today as they are right now in this moment. The truth is, the oath that you take today, and the one that we all took, is a constant reminder that it is a privilege to practice law. In the coming weeks and months, and certainly years, today may feel like a distant memory. While it's somewhat inevitable, I hope you can take how you're feeling today and your memories from today to use to fuel your passion for the law and service. Today is a momentous occasion and a direct result of your hard work. For many of you, this is something that you and others in your corner could have only dreamed of. I'm sure many of you have heard by now the term practice of law when we describe our work in this profession. Practice means that you are and will always be constantly learning in your new role. My advice to you is to learn your craft, make yourself indispensable, be reliable, and above all, be professional. While 110,000 lawyers in Florida may seem like a large number, I promise you that it is a small profession and your reputation is the number one thing that is worth protecting. I also wanted you all to know that everyone here acknowledges that this is a tough profession. It requires hard work, dedication, resiliency, and passion. By graduating law school and passing the bar, you have all shown that you have the tools in your toolkit that will make you successful in this practice. But remember that you most likely didn't do it alone. Whether it was the support of professors or mentors or your friends and family, your success today is also a product of their support. Lean on your support system in times of hardship, ask for help when you need it, and find a good mentor who can identify with you and your practice. Finally, my hope for you is that you will all get involved in your communities and local voluntary bar organizations. My proudest accomplishments in my professional career are those that stem from bar service, and I can't stress enough how invaluable that experience has been. In addition to meeting great people and serving your community and the profession, bar service and leadership also involves mentorship, health and wellness resources, education, and opportunities for growth and development. I do not have any bar service regrets, and I am certain that you will value the experience as much as I have. I will end with what I was told when I passed the bar. That is, there is no excuse for being unprepared. Deliver the best work product you always can. Write your emails as though they are being read aloud in open court. And my personal favorite, above all, treat your clients, the court, your colleagues, staff, and opposing counsel with as much respect as you would treat your best friend's grandmother. On behalf of myself and the entire Young Lawyers Division, welcome to the profession. I look forward to working with you and seeing you all succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will hear from Sean Caulfield, who is the candidate. Every year we ask someone who excelled on the bar to make remarks on behalf of newly admitted lawyers. I know, speaking for myself, this is always one of my favorite parts of this ceremony. So congratulations. Obviously, you put a lot of hard work into that and did a great job. And welcome to the court.
Thank you. It sounds like there's no pressure, so I'm happy. So thank you, Chief Justice, and may it please the court. I'd like to start today by thanking the court for the invitation to speak. To be honest, when I received a phone call from someone at the Florida bar to talk about my bar score, I almost hung up the phone and blocked their number. But I'm glad I didn't, and I'm humbled to speak on behalf of this extraordinary group of men and women who will soon have the privilege to call themselves attorneys. On behalf of this group, I'd also like to thank all those family and friends who stood by us through the highs and lows of law school and preparing for the bar exam. I know we were likely insufferable at times, but I have no doubt that without your patience and support, none of us would be here today. And if you'll bear with me for a brief moment, I'd like to offer a quick thank you to a few of the people who helped me on my own personal journey. I'd like to thank both my father, who drove up from Tampa today, and my mother, who drove down all the way from the state of Maine. Growing up, you two made it your priority to see to it that your children never wanted for anything. But the most important thing you provided to me in lifetime is something that money could never buy. You both instilled within me a competitive spirit and an unrelenting work ethic that has carried me through the challenges of law school and of life, and for that, I will forever be grateful. I'd next like to thank my beautiful girlfriend, Madeline. Over the last 2 years, you and your family have endured more tragedy than most people go through in a lifetime. In the span of 6 months, you lost your father to cancer, only to be followed shortly thereafter by a brain tumor diagnosis of your own. Your perseverance through these and other challenges has provided perspective and inspiration for me as I've dealt with rigors of the law school, and the bar exam. Your father, who is truly one of the greatest men I've ever had the privilege of knowing, would be proud to see that his fighting spirit still lives on in you today. And finally, on behalf of everyone here, I'd like to offer a collective thank you to Stetson College of Law and the respective law schools of each and every one here. Although we may not have enjoyed it at the time, the cold calls, the reading assignments, and the final exams, those things prepared us for the rigors of the bar exam and for the practice of law. And now comes the difficult part. I was asked to speak here today and offer a few words of inspiration to the newly admitted attorneys as we embark on our legal careers. It really seemed like a simple enough task at the time, but I struggled more writing this 5-minute speech than I did with any assignment that I had in law school. After all, what do you say to a group of individuals who, on their own, were inspired enough to put in the work to pass the most difficult bar exam in the country? After days staring at a blank page, I came to realize that the most fitting thing that I can do here this afternoon is take a moment to reflect on everything that you all have already accomplished. And in doing so, I hope you realize that you have the ability and the wherewithal to accomplish so much more in your legal careers. Most of this group started their law school careers in the height of COVID and all the chaos that came with it. Many of you went through the most difficult year of law school, your first year, completely remote. And despite these collective obstacles, as well as many challenges personal to each and every one of you, your determination and your perseverance allowed you to stay the course and earn your law degrees. Then, after graduation, you were disciplined enough to put the celebrations on pause and immediately refocus for 2 grueling months in which you were tasked with memorizing an amount of information that would make the average person sick to their stomachs. Even though you may have thrown up a few times in the process, you put in the work necessary to ensure that you would pass. You showed up to that horrible convention center in Tampa, and you held your nerve through 2 days of some of the highest stress testing in the professional world. If there was ever a group of individuals that have earned the right to call themselves attorneys, it truly is you. But just as your reward for graduating law school was stacks of bar prep books thick enough to double as dumbbells, your passing scores on the bar exam by no means signals that your toughest challenges are behind you. And if at times during your legal career you find your confidence wavering, I encourage you to think back again to all that you've accomplished up to this point. Think about how over the last 3 or 4 years you've overcome every obstacle. You've championed every challenge, and with your passing score on the bar exam, you've broken through the last barrier on your way to becoming attorneys. And with that, I'd like to thank the court again for the invitation here today, for the heart palpitations that came from that phone call, and congratulate you all one final time on becoming attorneys. Thank you.
Thanks so much, and congratulations again, and congratulations to your family, and thanks for making the effort to come up and down here today. Next, we will hear from Rochelle Munson, the chair of the Florida Board of Bar Examiners, also who's the person who personally chose the Tampa Convention Center as the site of the bar exam. And Ms. Munson will present the candidates and move for their admission.
May it please the court. I tell you, I stand here even more humbled today after listening to the very fine and eloquent words from our chosen inductee, Sean Patrick Caulfield. It represents not only the success, but the journey of what it took to land in this very spot at this appointed time. I should open, I believe, by just saying congratulations for that. I've stood at this podium multiple times for this esteemed occasion, and I must say that the all-encompassing significance of this moment never loses its luster. So, pursuant to the rules of the Supreme Court relating to the admissions to the bar, the candidates before you, justices, have been rigorously examined by this board, both as to the knowledge of the law and understanding of the standards and ideals of the legal profession. In addition, their backgrounds have been subjected to searching character and fitness investigations. So on behalf of the Florida Board of Bar Examiners, I certify that these candidates are fully qualified and that each enjoys the enthusiastic recommendation of the board for admission to the Florida Bar. So as your name is called, please stand and remain standing. Adam Martin Bramsky, Zachary Joseph Brigham, Jacob Tyler Buck, Reagan Burke, Endai Fatu Calixt, Sean Patrick Caulfield, Alden E. Glados, Joseph Michael Connick, Jack Craven, Sarah Pierce Dalton, Kevin Ryan Dartard Carter DeRocher, J. Lee Aaron Edmond, Aiden Hickey, Alberto Garcia Marrero, Amy Johns, Nicolette Faye Jones, Emma King, Nathaniel LeBlanc, Jason Thomas Long, Jason Lee McCosby, Russell Matthew Pena Monilia, Vanessa Pessoa, Ava K. Peterson, Brianna Lachey Saffold, Kelsey Deanna Schuler, David Michael Ray Standish, Jessica Renee Warshewski, Kendall Eric Wilson, Emily Ann Wood, Destiny Eunice Young, Christopher Kamal Yoskelatlu. Thank you. Oh. On behalf of the board, I move that these candidates be admitted to the Florida Bar.
Thank you. The court accepts your motion and grants it. second. Ms. Munson, thanks for those remarks, and thank you to you and for all your colleagues on the Board of Bar Examiners. I know you may perceive them as your tormentors right now, but they really do, they do a ton of work on behalf of, the bar, the legal profession, the court. It's lots of hours. They're very committed to it. They take it very seriously. We're very proud of how well run our bar examination is and everything that goes into that. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You've heard a lot of great advice this afternoon from people with a lot of credibility. I don't want to add too much to that, except to really just kind of emphasize to you that we view you and us as being engaged in a common endeavor, which is ultimately to serve the public. I think we always have to remember as lawyers that this is at bottom a service-oriented profession. In your academic pursuits, you can, obviously you're trying to prepare yourself to be able to help others, but you're focused on yourself and your learning and that sort of thing. Now you're entering a phase of your lives and your careers where people are going to be depending on you. That's kind of the essence, the nature of practicing law. As one of my friends, would say, you're playing with live ammunition going forward. So just remember that your clients depend on you, that you're entering a position of trust, and act accordingly. The other thing that I would want to emphasize to you is that, and this is where I really feel like we're very much in it together, which is we are engaged in the common pursuit of trying to preserve this amazing country that we have, this amazing state that we have, trying to preserve ordered liberty, equal justice under law, a society where we resolve our disputes through reason and good faith argument, where we treat people as individuals, where we respect opposing views, where we're committed to civility, all the things that I hope that you will reflect on throughout your career, that, as Ms. Patel said, that are in the oath. And if everybody says being a lawyer is different. If you want to read something that kind of summarizes the ways in which you do need to be different and embrace that difference, focus on the oath and all of the things in here, truth, honor, civility, fairness, integrity. These are all things that they're not just a benefit to you and to your clients, but they're really the foundation of the entire nature of our society. And I think lawyers have a special role in modeling that for other people. So I encourage you to think about that as you go forward. I wish you all the best. I welcome you to the Florida Bar. And again, we view ourselves as really being in partnership with you in pursuit of these common goals and these common values that we all share. So if you could please rise now, we will do the oath. And there's no shame in looking at your program. Some of these sentences are long and awkward. If you could please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Florida. I will maintain the respect due to courts of justice and judicial officers. I will not counsel or maintain any suit or proceedings which shall appear to me to be unjust, nor any defense except such as I believe to be honestly debatable under the law of the land. I will employ, for the purpose of maintaining the causes confided in me, such means only as are consistent with truth and honor, and will never seek to mislead the judge or jury by any artifice or false statement of fact or law. I will maintain the confidence and preserve inviolate the secrets of my clients, and will accept no compensation in connection with their business except from them or with their knowledge and approval. To opposing parties in their counsel, I pledge fairness, integrity, and civility. Not only in court, but also in all written and oral communications. I will abstain from all offensive personality and advance no fact prejudicial to the honor or reputation of a party or witness unless required by the justice of the cause with which I am charged. I will never reject from any consideration personal to myself the cause of the defenseless or oppressed, or delay anyone's cause for lucre or malice. So help me God. Congratulations. Okay, you can be seated. We're almost finished. I just have one very brief announcement. We ask that the newly sworn attorneys remain here in the courtroom standing in front of the bench for a group photograph, and then we remind the new attorneys to sign your oaths in the presence of one of the court's deputy clerks in the lawyer's lounge. The court is now adjourned. Thank you very much.